Hey everybody, welcome to the Faith and Fandom podcast on Love Thy Nerd, where you can find lots of cool content from previous interviews from everybody to professional wrestlers, to comic book creators, to city government officials, poets. And today we're going to be joined by Joshua Boyd, who is it Joshua or just Josh?
Just Josh is fine.
Okay, just Josh.
Yeah.
Just Josh if you're nasty. And
Yeah.
we're just joined by Josh Boyd today, who is a journalist. I think is that the best thing for Brothers Boyd?
Content creator.
Content creator.
Content
Okay.
creator.
I don't know, man.
Yes.
Y'all do the hard hittings. Content creator, primarily on YouTube, for a lot of their stuff. And they're also going to be Comic-Con showrunners after this upcoming weekend. So, Josh, any introduction you want to give yourself or anything you want to tell us about what you do?
Yes. So me and my brother Chris and my brother Daniel decided about 2 years ago we were going to start a YouTube channel. We sat around for years talking about comics, talking about pop culture stuff. Every holiday at mom and dad's and every chance we got to get together, and we really had a great time discussing it all. So we decided we'd share some of our knowledge from all that we've read and all that we've done in the comic book world with others. And we started the YouTube channel, and it kind of blossomed and grew from there. It went from just talking about the comics to visiting the cons, getting to know the vendors, getting to know like the Power Rangers and people that were there, doing interviews for the channel. And it's blown up to the point where we had a buddy who came to us and said, "Hey, there's no con in the New Bern Havelock area. Let's put one on. I'll help you guys get it going." And that little push is all it took to get us there.
Yeah. So, when you started your channel, like, what has been the biggest like hindrance per se of like getting your channel going and getting the audience you want?
Just the time it takes, man. I never realized it was so much work to edit down videos and do all that. If I'm working on a 15-minute video, it takes me 2 hours to edit it and get it all ready to go. Just finding that time in between life and work and all that to do it. Definitely the YouTubers that are out here doing this for a job, they don't have anything else going on. They're able to handle it. But I work as a teacher during the day. So when I do a video, I'm editing on the night at night and on the weekends just to get it in there.
You're starting your 27th year?
25th.
25th. Okay.
You're 25 this year. Yes.
That's a long time to be teaching. What do you teach?
Sixth grade social studies.
Have you been doing sixth grade the whole time?
No, I did elementary for 7 years. Then I went back and got my license added to for middle school history and English. And I did English for a while. I've done history. I've done sixth grade science. Man, I've just about taught it all, but social studies, history is where I like to be.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like a nice grounded place, but sixth grade is a special group.
Yes.
I have my youngest is just now going into sixth grade. Is she? Yeah. My youngest is just now going into sixth grade, so it's a feat. And editing and getting YouTube content together and clips it literally is like a full-time job to be able to put that stuff out. The guy who edited my first book, and which I'm not a big fan of my first book because it is roughly edited. Not anything against him. Both of us were absolute rookies. I was a terrible writer. He was a new beginning editor. He was a high school English teacher, so he edited my book. That's literally his job now.
Nice.
Is editing other people's YouTubes and TikToks. That when they stream, like Twitch stream and stuff like that.
That's where we hope to be one day.
Like just editing yours or editing others?
Yeah. Well, having others to be able to edit our videos where we're just creating the content and getting it edited. But we have not hit the monetization level yet, so we're still on the newbie row. We have over 1,200 followers, but we don't have the views yet to be monetized. So
And that
that's what we're working towards.
it was just one of those random things. He and his wife were both teachers, and then one day he's just like, "Okay, we're both done teaching," and he doesn't work. His wife doesn't work anymore, and he just edits people's YouTubes and TikToks, and are making is doing better than both of them teaching together.
Oh,
So
I can imagine so. Yes.
that's,
Well, teaching is a passion. That's why I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. It's definitely not for the paycheck.
yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Um, so you do this, and your brother Chris is also, one of the biggest primary components in it. What's his muggle job? Like, what does he do?
He is an embroiderer. Actually, our hats that you see us wearing, he made those. He does a lot of times my bags that I'll be carrying will have stuff on it he's made at work. He that's what he does for a living.
Oh, that's super dope.
Works. Yep.
And your third brother in the trio is not always as visible and things.
Yes.
What's his role and function?
Yeah, Daniel has a special needs child that he takes care of. So he's not able to be with us all the time, but he works as a pharmacist as for his day job. And he's
Yeah.
with us when he can be.
Right. And it's always good to actually see all three of y'all in one spot.
Yes.
So when you were starting this off, is it just because it was the brother aspect of it, or would you have done this on your own at some point?
It started, I'll tell you, Hector, I went through a bad divorce in 2016 and I hit a depression level that was horrible. I was going to a therapist, talking about things, and he's like, do things you enjoy, start something, start a project you can do that will help you. And this was kind of my brainchild to kind of help with that depression. And it has brought me into the fandom with all the creators and the actors, the fans, and it really helps. It's been a big load off my mind and helped with that by
Well,
doing this.
well, that's an awesome route to go for, you know, catharsis and actually doing that. And I'm glad that it's helped you through it because marriage is hard in
Yes.
general. Divorce is hard
Yes.
as in its own, and
Yes.
actually remaining whole in this. And that's one of the things too. It's like a lot of times, and not that fandom place spaces is always the place you want to be super vulnerable about stuff,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of these creators that'll go through divorces and just not talk about it or not have anybody talk about it. So it's uh, a big deal. We had a lady on the podcast a couple years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, who all she does is divorce coach. Like that, if you get divorced, she's there to kind of like help people like bounce back. And I got flack from some folks for saying for having her on my podcast. You said, "Oh, you're just promoting divorce." I'm like, no, divorce happens, and people need to
Yes.
not fall apart and suffer because they have to do it in silence. So,
Yes.
um, that's awesome that you were able to turn something painful into something creative with it.
Yes.
So what would you say has been your highlight in terms of being a content creator?
Um, the number of creators and people I've got to meet on my wall above me here, I have a copy that I've had since I was in high school of The Death of Superman, and it's signed by Dan Jurgens and Brett Breeding. Getting
Nah.
to talk to Jim Shooter at shows, guys that I've enjoyed reading their stuff for years. Just amazing. I think the big highlight this past year was when we hit GalaxyCon a couple months ago. When we were there, I got to meet Brandon Routh. I got to take a picture with Superman. And Hector, you know me, I'm a huge Superman fan. Love my Superman stuff. So to actually get to stand beside Superman and get a photo with him was just I was done Sunday morning after that was done. I was like, we can go home now, Chris. I'm good.
And that's one of the things is that this is a good being a content creator is great on its own. Being a
Yes.
content creator where you actually get to dive into the stuff that already you connect with, makes it a little bit sweeter. Um, and for me, it's that I love Brandon Routh. But for me, when I see him, I don't, and it's not a negative towards him. I don't see him as Superman. I see him as the guy from Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah,
Uh, and because I think he was freaking brilliant, like comedically in that, and he wasn't bad as the Atom either.
yeah.
But I've enjoyed him a lot. So that's been your highlight, and and that's one of the things too. GalaxyCon as a show has really provided a lot of people good opportunities with that. And for me, like Alex Kingston, who plays River Song from Doctor Who,
Right.
I had probably my best fan moment with her, and it was at, I think it might have even still been SuperCon at that point, but it was, it's provided some good opportunities. What would you say has been the biggest challenge in being a content creator?
Biggest challenge of being a content creator, getting it out there, like getting people to it. It's it there's so much out there already that you kind of get lost in the algorithm, and trying to create something that will hit that peak. We haven't hit our, I guess, viral video yet that has blown up, but it's going to happen one day. And even if it doesn't, I'm having fun with what I'm doing. You know, just getting to the people, getting people to sign up, getting people to see what we're doing. That's the fun of it, and just wanting it to spread more and more. It's difficult to get to people.
I'll say that.
The
Good.
but I'll say this, that the conventions have helped a lot, but you really hitting the highlight of where the everything is at the right moment is hard, because you never know if you're going to be a day early or a day late on something. Because everybody's so quick minded and fickle that if you're a day late or a day early, they just miss it.
Yeah. And I'll say this, in terms of content creation, your your brand has done more grassroots, boots on the ground work to establish yourself than any other content creator brand I've seen.
Awesome.
Because, you know, if you're remotely in this region, the two of you are probably going to show up at a show. And at some point in time, you're either going to have a booth or you're going to have a sign up sheet, or, you're going to make coverage like that. It's come to the place now that I, I low key judge a show if I don't see y'all there. Like, I was like, oh, they don't have the
Yeah.
Brothers Boyd. What kind of show
Yeah.
is this? I was like, oh, I was like, this is not a classy event now.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
part of that is timing too. There's so much going on. We can't make every single one. It
no,
just can't happen.
and being in the region, like you and I are like 3 hours apart,
Right.
just in, spacing and everything. Um, there's usually a show every weekend within 2 hours in every direction, and usually
Yes.
multiple shows at that.
Yes.
And people don't realize how many cons are constantly going on and being available and being in front of people in that capacity.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. And I mean, like right now, Chris is at a show right now working.
what
He's
shows he at?
he's he's at Gamers Guild Hall in Morehead City.
Okay.
They're doing a vendor fair there tonight. And I opted out because of the first day of school tomorrow. So I was like, yeah, I need to be home. I don't need to be sitting for 3 or 4 hours at a con today. I got to make sure I got everything ready for that first day.
Then also you've got so being the same day, just like you're saying, there's
Yes.
lots of options. You've
Yes.
got Soda City Comic Con is happening
Yes.
in Columbia. You've
Right.
got Mad Monster Party is happening in Charlotte.
Right.
Um, so people are just literally everywhere in terms of show options.
Oh yeah.
Um, how many
Even
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Even the weekend of our show coming up is Dragon Con is going to be going on that weekend.
Yeah. And I don't ever feel bad going against Dragon Con just because Dragon Con people like have already made their plans no matter what.
Yes.
Like you're not going to win over somebody because they buy their tickets like a year in advance and everything else. So
Right.
I mean it's it's sad to go against it, but you're gonna have your own thing. I think Rock Hill is going on the same weekend
Okay.
as y'all too, and there's some, you know, but again, it's where all the cool kids are. And
Exactly.
so one thing I was gonna say is in terms of for the how many shows you do you guys like set a limit? Do you map that out? Like what determines if you're going to that show or another one?
The first year we were doing this, we were at shows almost every weekend, man. I was completely exhausted. And when this year rolled around, we said, we got to cut it back to 1 to 2 a month. We can't do that many. It's kind of creeped up on us a little bit, but when you have opportunities like we had the opportunity to go to Heroes Con, we had the opportunity to go to Galaxy Con. Those were last minute additions that you can't pass up. You know, something that big with that kind of exposure, you've got to be there for that.
Now, are you like I know for some of the as I've seen, are you operating as functional press now or like
Yeah.
what's your status with that?
For the larger cons like Galaxy Con and Heroes Con, we generally go as press. A lot of the cons we've been able to get tables and go in and set up. It just depends on the size of the con and their price and all that. We could at the moment with the channel we could not buy a table at Galaxy Con or Heroes Con just because we don't make that much money from our table. Our
Yeah.
table's all about promoting the channel.
And that's one of the things is like, these shows can be so hit or miss too that if your financial well-being is the tied up in being able to
Yeah,
create
yeah,
because I meant like the cheapest table at GalaxyCon Raleigh is 480 now,
yeah,
something on that nature. And now I can say moderately confidently that GalaxyCon Raleigh is the only show that I'm confident I'll make my money back.
right.
Just being able to say, I know I'm going to make table, I know I'm going to make hotel,
Yeah,
and like I may not make more than that, but I can know I'm going to come out remotely unscathed. But a lot of these shows that it's hard that if you're going in there just to be able to get your brand out, there's a big financial aspect to it. Like
yes,
and this isn't shade towards them. It's just prices have gone up on shows. Like what is it? NC Comic Con in
yes,
November is 650,
yes,
and for a day and a half for 2 days, and I'm just like, no,
yeah.
like I can't. Like, there's no way I'm gonna roll into a show like of that nature and come out, a 2 day show and be that functional. Um,
Yeah, that's the kind of show we hit as press.
yeah,
We go and film and talk, and we actually kind of when I go as press, we get footage, we get all that stuff done, we interview as many creators and people as we can, but we also go as fans.
yeah, yeah,
We go and we get signatures on our comics and things like that. My hope is to build a wall up here in front of me with nothing but signed comics. I've been using Comic Capsule
yeah.
to display my comics, and they're great because it's not like a CGC where it's sealed up forever and I can't get it out. I can pull it back out if I want to out of a comic capsule and look at it.
Well, I think I did that with my first like with my comic book Clockwork. Like I was like I want to CGC this one, but I was like, oh no, I just want it in plastic. I want it in a chunky
Yeah,
plastic case. I was like, I
yeah.
don't need it graded.
Yeah.
But so what is the press process like? Do you find that it's pretty easy? Is it difficult to get through?
It is, excuse me, it is not that difficult to get through for most places. We've built a name for ourselves, and people, when they see us, put in an application. Yeah, these guys are going to promote our show. They're going to help us out. We generally don't have an issue with it. Like this year, we were joyfully surprised that Heroes Con said, yes, here's 2 press passes. You guys can come. So that was a big win for us this year. That let us know, hey, we're making some headway. Shows like Fayetteville, NC Comic Con, we can generally get press passes easily.
Yeah.
Galaxy Con, they don't recognize us as well for press passes.
Okay.
I think our viewership and our followers is not at the level they want for press pass.
Okay.
They're more of a San Diego style high for
Yeah.
their press passes. So
Uh, good.
yeah, that's the only one we've not been able to crack. Now, luckily, I was working at the comic shop this summer, my local shop, and I was able to get passes to the show. So that's how we were able to go to GalaxyCon this year.
Let me just put this feather in your cap for
All
that.
right.
Um, Panels get free passes.
Okay.
So if you were to say offer a panel on starting a YouTube broadcast channel,
Nice.
you would get free passes.
Okay. That's
Um,
good to know.
and so usually 3 months out, they'll take panel applications, and you'll end up with and if you, depending on how they're doing, and who's doing it, because they've changed who runs panels over the last few years.
Right.
Um, they'll ask you how many people are on your panel and give you a pass for each person on your panel.
Nice.
So that wasn't the case last year, but it was the case this year. And they asked me like, how many people are on your panel? I was like, well, there'll be 3 people on Friday and 4 people on Sunday. They gave me 7 passes
Nice.
that I'm like, and I messaged the dude has like, hey man, I don't need these. Like, you could, it's like I don't want to waste your resources. But
Yeah.
it's a good thing to know that like for shows like GalaxyCon, you can, if you offer a panel and they accept it, you get passes too.
Well, that's
So
awesome. That's good to know, man. Because at some point it would be nice to share what we do, and somebody who's trying to learn this, actually can jump in.
yeah, I mean,
Where yeah,
it makes a difference, and usually for most things, and I relate it back to when they were launching Pokemon Go, which is around 2016.
right,
Um, and the first trailer I saw for Pokemon Go was just kids and looking off into the distance, and you'd see like a Pokemon shadow or something go by, and a kid would say, "I can do that." And it was just kids back and forth saying I can do
yeah,
that, and it was saying, oh, I can actually be a part of this world. And there's so many people that if one person they're connected to starts something, that gives them the courage to actually go out and start it themselves. And for me, the first book I wrote, like, that said, okay, I can write a book, was because I helped somebody else publish their book, and I was like, hold on, that's all it took. What? Bet. Here we go. and it and it was the same thing I did. Once upon a time, pre Faith and Fandom,
yeah.
I started a YouTube content creator channel, and I did it for 2 years. And I started it because I saw Felicia Day start one. And I was a big fan of Felicia Day from like Doctor Horrible,
Right.
and at that point in time, and she started a one. I was like, and I watched her model, and I'm like, okay. So I did a YouTube content channel called Hector's 5 Minute Frenzy,
Nice.
because I love a band called Five Iron Frenzy, and so I'm not creative. And I did 5 Minute Frenzy, and it was basically a 5 minute show every week. There'd be a minute devotional, like a 30, like 60 seconds flat. There'd be a an interview with somebody. There'd be like a cool thing in my town or whatever. And I did that for like 2 years. And then once I started Faith and Pain, I'm like, all right, I'm done with this forever. out the door. Um, but like even then, and that was 20 uh 12 that I was doing
Yeah.
that, like 2013. It was a lot of work then. And even trying to keep up with like algorithmic stuff now
Yes.
sounds like a nightmare, because people ask me about a YouTube channel for Faith and Fandom, and I'm like, look, you're gonna get what you get.
Yeah.
I do not care enough to put in the work that you guys put into for my personal stuff. Now, our production team here for Love Thy Nerd, they're gonna make this all pretty and snazzy, and it'll look sassy, and you would not get this much love if I did this on my own. You would get the Zoom broadcast, and if you're super lucky, I would add my intro music, and that's as far as it'd go. Um, but we have a dope production team with this. So all that in terms of content creation, and you got approached about starting a con. And first off, as soon as I heard that you were doing a show and it was called the Friends of the Brothers Boyd Comic Con, I'm like, yeah, you are. Like, y'all would do this. And I was like,
Yep.
if anybody has the skin in the game in terms of like connectivity within especially our region of Comic Cons, it's you guys.
Yes.
Because like I said, you put in the work of being the most grassroots present. There's literally nobody I know doing media um uh at shows the way you all do. Um
Yes.
and so I was like, y'all have earned the right to do that. So how did you go about deciding who you wanted at your show for this?
Well, well, the first thing we did, Hector, was we looked at our list of friends. You know, me and you go back a long way. Um, Newsboys concert, man, is the first time I met you in Fayetteville. You had the original Faith and Fandom book. Do you remember that show? It was a it was a outside show at a church. Um,
Oh, shut up.
I
Next
Newsboys.
Fest.
Yes, yes.
Shut your
Um,
mouth.
I was working as a youth leader at the time, and I invited my youth. I had two kids who came and wanted to go, and so we went to Next Fest for the day
Oh
and
my
saw the
gosh.
Newsboys. Met you there. I bought a copy of Faith and Fandom #1 from you that day. Yes,
Here's the thing. You've been ingrained in my like bubble long enough that I forgot where
yes,
you came from. There's just like,
yes,
you're like you just pre-exist. You're part of the story.
yes,
Um, oh, that's nuts. Okay, yeah.
yes. Yeah.
I mi- I
So
missed that show by the way, because like I was talking to the showrunner for that show. I was like, can you bring this back? Um, because they stopped doing it, but like my favorite, the last one they did, I got I had my booth set up, and Fayetteville Comic Con was there too.
yeah,
I got them a booth, but I got to DJ
nice.
like the stuff in between, and I got to actually be on stage and DJ with Andy Mineo, and that was like top tier.
That's cool.
Like, and
Yes,
that's the last show they did, and like, so I'm on the poster with Andy Mineo, and I'm just like, okay, that's if I'm gonna go out, this is a good way to go out. But
exactly.
they never came back after COVID.
Yes.
So, but it's what it is. That church has gone through a lot of transition, and Brian's kids have Brian, the guy who ran it, his kids are
Right.
graduating, and it's a whole life thing. But all right, so you went through your list. Obviously, our connection,
Yes.
like with everybody else, like who are the people you said, all right, we need these people.
All right. So obviously the first is Jenny's Designs, my wife, who makes the polymer clay earrings.
Yep.
She's going to be there with her earrings and necklaces and things. Um, we went to our indie comic creators, people who were local, people from Wilmington, from the area. We had Wilson Lee from CNS Comics, who writes Talasha and the Stars, which is a great book. Brassy Jones from Indomitable Comic Products with the Indomitable Black Assassin. We went to there's a new guy in Newbern, Rob Powers with Def Shogun Comics, and he's going to
Okay.
be there with his Pinguino's Revenge. We met
I saw the
Jeff.
name on the listing, and I was like, that's a dope
Yes,
name.
yes, yeah, and he has some dope art, man. It's really great. Um, Def Shogun, Jeff Zanalotti for Zed Comics. We met in Wilmington. His Accidental Renegades. Um, we went to Art of Angela Fairnot, if you know her from Tales of Cape Fear from Wilmington.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She is the editor on that. And she does the Blackbeard story in the back of the books. So
Okay.
we went after first and foremost comics. We wanted comic creators. We wanted people there who work in comics. Special guest, we've got Rob Potsy Potcheck for Keen Spot Comics. He just finished up releasing Zor, which is an amazing all ages title that he wrote. We've got Daryl Murphy, who worked on the Hero Initiative, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He has an indie comic called Revigen that he's going to be bringing with him. We went to our friends, Gene Shanks, who is Mr. Gene. He has been going through cancer, and his comic is a way of paying for his medical bills. And he has an amazing book. Catalyst Comics Studios, Aaron Dow, and I believe you know him. He's going to be at your show. He's coming to
Yep.
ours as well. Um, we wanted to hit all of our friends. My shirt here, Gwildor the Great and Magnificent, Cold Lake Enterprises, John DeGraff and Reed will be at our show with all his crazy t-shirts.
That's awesome.
We tried to hit as many people as we could. We got you coming. We've got Ashley for Fangirling Over Jesus. She's going to be there. We
So
got you guys sitting side by side.
that's what I was about
Yes.
to say. We saw that thing and she texted me. She's like, they put us next to each other, and I was like, it's Jesus Street. It's just
Yes, it is. Because if you look to the other side of you, you're going to
yeah.
see Kingdom Geeks as well.
Okay. I saw that on the
Yes.
list. I was like,
Yes.
there was and it's not a negative that we're next to each other, but it's just
Yes.
like there's a show in Tennessee that would always put any Jesus related stuff in the lobby
Yeah.
next, like all in the lobby all together. So like it was just like, oh, we're in a little gang.
Yeah, we tried to make sure that when we were setting up the layout that we were keeping like-minded things together. Like all of our comic vendors are set in one row, so they're all there together where you can go and dig.
Yeah,
All our creators are in the back row, with our special guest. Really, what brought us in and we were excited to get was Karen Whitfield, the
yeah.
Bronze Age Batgirl. We met her in Greenville, the very first con the Brothers Boyd went to as a group and recorded at. And we have been friends with her ever since.
Is
She
that
was our
really the
first.
first con y'all
Yes.
recorded at? Holy
Yes.
crap.
And
Um,
she was our first celebrity interview. We brought her book and we had her on and we talked and we've kept in touch since then. We call her Sister Boyd. She's a member of the family.
so I don't know if you know this, but her first con ever, she was my booth neighbor.
Nice.
Her first con ever was Fayetteville,
Yes.
and I was next to her, and Keith was like, Hector will show you all the ropes. And so like I helped her set her booth up and everything. And actually when uh Love Thy Nerd launched this podcast as their project, she was our first guest on it. So
Nice.
y'all are in the rotation of the same thing.
Yes.
But yeah, she's a good get to get. Um
Yes.
that's dope, man.
Yep. We've got Damon Batt, the artist, who he is her personal artist. He's also the personal artist for Sergeant Slaughter
Okay.
and the prints. I know you've seen the poster we put up with Batgirl with the Brothers
Yeah,
Boyd on it. We will have an exclusive print. We have 99 of those to sell at the show. So
that's
that there'll
dope.
be show exclusive prints. Um, he did that for us, made some great artwork, and we're going to get that out there.
I mean,
That between
what a great poster though. Like, for y'all that,
yes,
yeah, if you haven't seen this, and I'll send the image over for the
yeah,
pr production folks. Your brother is well known for cosplaying as Silent Bob,
yes,
and so the poster features the two of you and your other brother, being swung through the air by Karen Whitfield as Batgirl, and
yes,
in the classic Spider-Man pose. It is like
yes.
it's nice.
Yeah, it is. It's a really nice post. It's a beautiful poster. I actually have them sitting here at the house, and I love it. I've got to get a frame so I can throw one up on my wall
Yeah,
because I
absolutely.
absolutely love it. And actually, which the poster we have here is just one version of it. He also sent us a version where it looks like a comic book, and
Okay.
it says the Brothers Boyd across the top, and it has the thing on the side for the issue. And he took the classic DC logo and he replaced the DC with a BB.
Oh, well done.
So it's beautiful. It's great. I'm actually going to take that file. He's sending me that file, and I'm going to make some T-shirts out of it for our volunteers with the big BB logo on it.
And I'll say this, and like outside of just promotion for your YouTube channel, um, you guys having merch of your branding,
Yes.
I think helps people establish confidence in you. And having hats and stickers and stuff, they're like, oh well, if they've got merch, I guess I should have it. Like it's like,
Yes.
yeah, I think that like is a good subconscious like push to saying, hey, we're worth remembering. Boom.
Yep. Yeah, and we're like we have our stickers now. We're actually out of shirts and we're out of hats. We've got to get some more ordered and up for the shows.
I
We've
was about
hit
to
the
say
point where
that's not
we're
good for
out.
you to be out of your own
No,
stuff for your show.
no, we're out of our merch. I mean, it's all we've got. But that's a good sign because we're giving it away and it's selling.
Yeah,
People love it. They're excited to get it. We did pull in. I talked about all the people from there. Our local shop, Carolina Comics and More here in New Bern.
yeah,
They're going to be there at the show. They're going to have a table set up. Jerry, who works in the shop, he's going to have a table set up with his. Some of the regulars that are in the shop that I've gotten to know over the last couple of years, they're Grayson Waddell and his dad have a table with all kinds of comics and collectibles. I'm talking about these guys come in and they're like, "Oh, I only got 4 books this week," and then I look at their stack on the shelf and it's like this because they've picked up all these different covers. So I'm sure they're going to have some great stuff at the show. We've made friends with a lot of authors like you, Emily Elder, who is a friend, longtime friend, because she actually was a kid in youth group where Chris was working with the youth at church, and now she's an established author. And she's going to have her books at the show. Um, Dave Atwell, a buddy we met, when
yep,
we first started out writing The Hunger, and it's like Wild West zombies.
yeah.
It's a great series. He'll be at the show. Josh Mayers, who is a artist, comic creator. He actually did a picture for me. I'm sure I've told you about my classroom before, where it's all medieval themed, and I'm the king of the classroom.
Yeah,
Um, he did it. He did an artist rendering of me as King Boyd sitting on the Iron Throne, and it's hanging in my classroom.
nice.
So yeah, I mean, just pulling our friends in, man. It's been so great. All the people we've met, all the people we've been able to bring in. We've got over 50 different vendors. We've even
That's
met
so
some new
chunky, man.
people. Yeah, it's going to be full. I mean, the place is packed. I've had people asking me, so are our setups 10 by 10? No, they're not 10 by 10 because we don't have the space for 10 by 10.
Yeah.
You're going to be in there packed in. We did say next year we're going to have to cut back because we sold by table this time and we filled the place. And it was just either that or find a bigger venue.
So like because I've never been to that region specifically. I
Yes.
think Jacksonville's as far as I've made it over that way. Um what kind of, just for people listening that are, like might be interested in putting on a show, because like I take the super easy route in putting on my little show because I have a building. I don't have to worry about money or
Yes.
what that comes with.
Yes.
What kind of financial investment is it for you guys to put this on?
Well, I'll tell you that, and he probably won't want me to do this, but I'm going to shout him out anyway. Tim Patterson with Tactics Role Play Gaming. He's the one who kind of pushed us into it, and he dropped the deposit on the building so that we could get it. And then after we sold enough tables, we paid it, then paid the rest of it.
Well,
Um,
awesome,
it
dude.
it wound up coming out to about $1,200 to rent it for the day. And that's just getting the building, which a couple of weeks ago I found out, oh, by the way, you have to have insurance. So I had to call and set up insurance for the day with an event insured. So I got all that done and taken care of. Marketing, just getting like I printed the prints the other day. The posters I know you've seen, we've posted. I made prints and I've been going around putting those out. I've had postcard size cards made. We got printed through Staples. We've been giving out and putting in shops everywhere to promote it. Just the logistics is probably over $2,000 to just get it started. And that's low key promotion. That's not going in and paying for a billboard or TV spots or anything like that. Just kind of word of mouth and getting it out there in the area.
Well,
We did. I know you probably saw us on the news
yep.
Friday. Yes. Yeah, that was a good one to get us going and get some promotion as well.
Well, because you guys are so good at grassroots promotion marketing, like I think you've handled it well, especially to be your first show and putting it on. And, not that you haven't put a ton into it, $2,000 is still a big investment.
Yes.
Um, but like I've seen some first time show folks try and go for $30,000 shows on their first one.
No, that would never happen. Never happen. You
And
know.
and it's like I don't knock their bravery, but good grief, my butt would never unclench if I
Oh
knew
yeah.
that that was that kind of that serious. But for you to be able to pay for your stuff even just by your table sales, that's
Yes.
huge.
Yeah.
Um, that's a really big deal. So at the end of the day, when this show comes and goes, what would it take for you to say this was a successful event?
The biggest thing is one of the main reasons we're doing it, Hector, is we've made friends over the past couple of years at Fayetteville with Emma and Darren Shell, who work for the Triad Suicide Prevention,
Yeah,
and they're going to be at our show. We are doing raffles during the show. Our vendors have all graciously said they would bring something for the raffle, and the amount of money we raise for suicide prevention, the fact that we can raise, whatever amount we can make, that will make it a success for me. That and the fact that I won't go into it and owe money at the end of it. That's going to be my thing.
that's a big one. That's a,
Yes.
listen,
Yeah.
like the going into your show knowing you're not going to
Yeah.
be in debt at the end of it is,
Yes. Yeah.
but
Oh, and I didn't even think like hotel rooms for our guests. That's another thing.
oh gosh,
Getting in there, we have those set up for a few special guests.
I
Um,
was, I was about to say, I
yeah.
hope that's a big roster if you're
Yes.
covering your
Yeah.
whole,
Oh no, we're not covering. We couldn't cover everybody. And we are covering lunch for our vendors that day
yeah,
because the venue we have does not have. They don't allow food trucks, which is what we were planning to do,
yeah.
but they do bring in and they sell concessions. They're going to have pizza and hot dogs and stuff. So we're going to be coming around taking orders and getting lunch for the vendors.
That's
Because
huge, dude.
yeah,
Uh,
you guys have showed up for us, and we want to thank you for it because
Um,
it's been a great turnout.
we just I just got confirmed for our little show, the week after yours that we just got a taco food
Nice.
truck. And so we're gonna do that with all of the vendors is everybody's gonna get like a free meal at the food truck. So
Awesome.
we're gonna try and do that on y'all's end too. Um, so what are there any apprehensions or any like negative things lingering over this that have your concern?
Um, no, just hoping that everything turns out well. I haven't seen the space set up with the layout we've done, so I'm hoping there's enough space for everybody. I hope it, goes well. I hope the turnout is good. Your first show, you're always worried that nobody's going to show up, but everybody has been talking about it. There's been good buzz. I want our vendors to be successful first and foremost. I want
Yeah.
them to have a great show. I want them ready to come back for another year. I want the people in the community to know, hey, this is something great for our community. We want this to occur every year. I want them to be able to come in and enjoy it. That's my biggest apprehension. I want everybody to have a good day. You know,
Are you gonna have
that's
like a little video booth set up for people to leave comments for your YouTube channel?
we need to figure out how to do that. Some way that they can comment. We'll have probably some QR codes to subscribe and things like that.
Yeah.
I do know that we have a photographer who's going to be coming in and taking photos for us and doing photo ops for cosplayers
Okay.
for anybody who comes in cosplay.
Nice.
So we did not have the forethought or the energy to put together a cosplay contest for our first show. So maybe next year,
Well, I mean, it's
but I
just
wasn't
even
ready to take that on.
for our little one, all we did was, like, hey, it's 2:30. If you're in a costume, come walk across the stage and let's clap
Yeah,
for you. Cool, thanks.
yeah,
That's like,
yes,
that's all I got because I've also seen on the other hand, I love cosplay. Cosplay is a big deal. My last year doing my little content creator channel, that was the thing is like I helped because you were at Heroes this year. I kind of, by my understanding, helped catalyze them actually doing a cosplay contest
Nice.
because my last year doing my channel, that's what I did is I went around and videoed every cosplayer and got their information and let people on YouTube vote for which costume they thought was best.
Nice.
And then I had prize packages and sent them off to them, and Heroes actually put it on their website. And then the next year they started their own cosplay contest.
Awesome.
Um, and that's cool, and it makes a big thing. But at the same time, I've seen that if you don't handle it right, a cosplay
Yes.
contest can be real icky.
Yes. Yeah. And it can be. And our thing too is we're very much a family friendly channel because of my position as a sixth grade teacher. We
Yeah,
keep things clean. We try to keep things family friendly. And sometimes cosplay can get very suggestive and very above that line,
yeah.
you know? And it's just one of those things you have to be careful with. Um, Hector, I also want to make sure I mention Wham stands out of California. They make these great stands for comic books.
Okay,
They're gonna have a table set up at our channel. The owner is not going to be able to be here. He's sending us a box of stuff to display and show. And if anybody's interested in that, they can go on his website and order stuff.
okay.
But they jumped in when we said we were doing this, and they sent us some money and some materials and said we want to be a sponsor. Put us on your posters.
Dude, that's dope.
Yeah. So we've been promoting their products as well.
That's
So
awesome, man.
so I want to make sure I mention them because they've been a big part of helping this happen as well.
So just to make sure, because like you and I know where we're talking about this, say it real clear and can't miss it for information for anybody listening or watching. Where is your show taking place? When is your show taking place? And anything else people should know about your show in advance.
Yes. Yes. So the Friends of the Brothers Boyd Comic Con will be August 31st, Memorial Day. Is it Memorial Day or Labor Day? I
Labor
always
Day.
mix them up. Labor Day weekend. It is that Saturday from 11 to 4. It's at the Havelock Tourist and Convention Center in Havelock, North Carolina. It's 201 Tourist Center Drive. If you're looking for it when you're coming through Havelock, you're going to see a Mexican restaurant, a big airplane, and two hotels behind it. And the Tourist and Convention Center Event Center is directly behind those two hotels.
Sweet.
So,
And for your channel as well, where should people go to find your content and to if they want to support y'all or check out some of the stuff you've made, what's that look like?
all right. So on YouTube, you go to The Brothers Boyd. We had to put the in front of it because Brothers Boyd is a bluegrass band.
As it should
When
be.
you look that up, if you find a bluegrass band, you don't find us. You have to put the in front of it. You'll see our logo with the cartoon characters of me, Chris, and Daniel on there when you first pull it up, and that will let you know it's us. We are on Facebook, Instagram. I guess it's X now, not Twitter, but we're also on Threads. We're on TikTok. We're on all the major social medias. So we're on all that stuff, ready to roll
I
for
love it
anybody
when I'm
looking
at a
for us.
con and I start getting TikToks of y'all from y'all at
Yes,
the con that I'm at about the con that I'm at.
yes,
It's
yeah.
like,
We keep them rolling, man, and it's amazing. Some days we have great days. We're able to film. When we were in Greenville this past about 2 weeks ago,
yeah,
we never got any footage shot. We couldn't get away from our table. It was that busy all day long.
that's dope.
So so sometimes having a table is a blessing and a curse at the same time because
Uh,
we got our name out there and we got a bunch of new subscribers, but we weren't able to get any footage of the con.
well, at that
So
point, you just need to start videoing your booth.
yes, yeah, yeah. At that point, that's the only thing to do. You know, we'll do what we can to promote. I'll tell you this: anybody who's coming out and coming to our show, um, everybody, mom, dad, kids, come out, bring everybody. We're gonna have I think it's amagurumi is how you say it, yarn art, the Japanese art of like circles.
Oh,
One of my
okay.
friends, Maryland's Crafty Creations is going to be there. She makes these little guys. I got a little Kirby, little Mario mushroom here. You know, she makes all these cool little things. Can you identify that?
A Dragon Ball?
Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Pokeball. You know, I've got all these. These things are great, especially if I'm walking around teaching in the classroom. Look, and I can't catch it tonight, but I'll walk around and throw them in the air and catch them while I'm teaching. Good
So
stuff.
somebody, one of my friends who does similar things, made an F bomb. It's just a
that
bomb with F on it, and
that
so
would be great.
I'll just like literally walk around, just randomly drop it for people to pick up.
Yeah,
But
I can see that in the classroom. Mr. Boyd, drop the F bomb.
and I don't think know if we said this, but your show is free, right?
Yes, it is
It's
free to get in,
it's
free
free to get in.
admission. All that we're asking is support our vendors, support our the suicide prevention raffle. We're gonna have a bucket up front if you feel led and want to donate to the con to help us start it again next year. We'll have a basket up front. You know, that's all we're gonna do.
All
We're
right,
asking people to come in and have a good time.
two last questions, and I'm gonna let you go because I know
Yes,
you got your first day of school. Um,
yes.
what advice do you have for people that would want to start content creation in the way that you have, and what advice do you have for people in starting a con?
For the content creation, pick something you love, pick something you have fun doing, because anytime, oh, excuse me, anytime is something you have fun with, it won't be like work. It will be enjoyable. And that's one of the things I've always said to Chris. As long as I'm having fun, we'll keep doing this. You know, when it becomes work, then I don't want to do it anymore. You know, it's just fun. And I enjoy it. I enjoy the experiences, getting to hang out with people like you, man. So looking forward to Saturday, getting to hang out with all our friends. You know,
Not
that that just makes it great.
when literally when you and I know we talked about it back and forth when I was trying to make it work. I was already booked for another show, and I'm like, man, I hope the show cancels. So I want to go to y'all's show. Um,
Yes.
I was like, phew, it canceled.
Yep.
But yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
Just
what advice do you have for show runners?
for to start a show,
Yeah.
make sure you've been to a show. Make sure you've been to multiple shows. Make sure you've met with other showrunners. I'll tell you, like Alan Gill for Ultimate Comics, who runs NC Comic Con. Keith Gibbs, who runs Fayetteville Comic Con. I'm drawing a blank right now, but he runs Soda City. He did the Wilmington Con last year. We've met with these guys. We've become friends with these guys, and they've gave us all kinds of tips. You know, if you need help with your con, give me a call. Let me know what you need. Get to know your vendors. Get to know the people at the shows. That's when we felt confident holding this con, when we knew we had a list of vendors that we knew well enough and we could trust to come down and put on this show. We could count on them being here, and that's that. Hopefully, we'll make a successful con, because we're here. Yes, we're here so our vendors can make money, but we're also here to have a good time, and
Yeah.
we want to bring fun to our community. And that's the biggest thing you got to be able to do to run one. You
Sweet.
know, because there's going to be headaches along the way. Trust me, I made our layout last weekend or the weekend before last. Got it, took it into the convention center, and yeah, that's not going to work. You got to have room for the doors. So I had to come home that Monday night and redo the entire layout.
Well,
So
like, and even on our little con coming up on the 7th, it's the day that we really put out the announcement for it. I mean, like my space isn't that big to begin with.
yes,
And so like we were basically full the first day just from people saying it. And I'm literally dealing with people daily saying, hey, I want to be in there. And I'm like, I can't take you.
yeah, I'm
And
still having that same issue, man. We still have people who are trying to sign up. I actually had a guy send me money before I sent him a message the other day and said, I'm sorry, man, I got to send you a refund. We're all full. I don't have any more room.
Yeah, I'm about to start putting people in the parking lot just if they really want the opportunity. I was like, if you got a
Yes.
table and you can come to the parking lot, come on out. But
Yep.
like past that, there's like a dude that hit me up and said, "Hey, I got 8,000 Magic cards," and I'm like, "That's great, but I ain't got room." Um,
Yes.
so we're gonna try to make it great. So, Josh, anything else you want to say before you're out?
I have a great week, man. Come see us August 31st at the Havelock Tourist and Event Center. Come hang out with some great folks, meet some great people, get some great comics.
Sweet.
Yep.
Oh, so before we're out, I want to say thank you for taking time to listen or watch, depending on where you're at. You can find the Faith and Fandom podcast on the Love Thy Nerd Network, which is a part of over a dozen other cool podcasts that go in the world of geek and faith at the same time. You can also find us on the Glue Network, GLU Network on Roku channels. You'll be able to see this there as well. And on YouTube, it is youtube.com/at Faith and Fandom LTN is where the dedicated source for this will be. And we'd love for you to take a chance to check out some of the other podcasts that are there as well. And I'll be there at the Brothers Boyd show this weekend, and I'll do an Artist Alley aftermath and talk about how great it was at the end of it. And you'll be able to check that out on my channel as well. But Josh, thanks for taking time to listen or to share with me, man. And I look forward to seeing you this upcoming week.
I appreciate it, man.
All right.
All right.
Thank y'all. Have a great day.
Yes.